Hello everyone. Today we'll be discussing on how you can implement an Ajax data table. So in the previous videos we discussed on how you can get started, how you can customize your data table, and how you can actually add editable data tables. Links of all the videos will be in the description below. And today in this video we'll be talking about how you can implement an Ajax type data table. What we mean by Ajax data table is the data is basically coming from the backend, and we're using Ajax to populate the data table. So let's get right into it. So in this video, we'll be again using Jet as our demo of choice. You can go ahead and purchase Jets right here. And once you've done that, it should look something like this. And go ahead and open it with your IDE of choice. Today, what we use is Visual Studio Code. And we have Jet data tables open here. This is a follow-up from our previous video where we added editable data tables. So we'll be using this exact same page and how we can update or customize this current data table JS with whatever we're going to have using Ajax. So go ahead and grab Jet and start it up. Now if you do not know how to start up Jet, all you need to do is just open up Jet, go to theme, go to dist, and go to index, open it on your browser, and go to the last link and go to documentation. And in here you have a quick install. Just click on that and you can just go through each step to set up Jet on your local machine. So what I've done all these steps, and I've also started running gulp localhost, which as you can see, Jet is now running in my localhost environment. So let's now, but the cool thing about our documentation here is if we go to our data tables, you go to server side and you see the data tables being generated using Ajax. So we have a PHP endpoint here as a sample, but however, if you're doing a project, perhaps you shouldn't copy exactly what we have here. You can use this as a general starting point. We're using PHP as our server-side code, and here is our JS where we will call our data table endpoints. So now let's go ahead and first build our HTML. Let's look at our data table and find our table, which is right here. So let's go ahead and delete everything that we have because we don't need it anymore. And our data table, we do not need everything in here because we'll be reinitializing with our new JS. Right, now from here we grab our wrapper and our data table. The wrapper is basically this header with the search, filter, and add customer button, but of course this too doesn't work at the moment, but we're just going to put it in. Alright, and here we go. So we have our search, and then we have our buttons that at the moment it's just a tooltip. We can take that off if we don't want to. Let's take off the whole thing. Yep. And then this is the selected actions. Selected actions is basically if you click on this happens. So it counts how many things that you have selecting. It's pretty cool. You know what? Let's not take off the buttons. Let's leave it there. Looks cool. And now we have our data table, which is empty. If you notice, our T body is empty, totally empty. So if we save that, we go to our page. So we go to our Jet, we go to our app/datatable/datatable.html. Now how do we get to this path is because we created this page. So we have apps and then data table and data tables. That's where we created our file, and this is where we have it. Now if you notice there's some dots here, this is for you to add your comment or labels if you need, but if you don't need anything or any icons or anything like that, if you don't need it, just take it out like so. In fact, you don't need the whole thing. Let's take out the entire icon. You don't need the icon. There we go. So now let's copy the JS. So we can grab this whole thing all the way to the bottom here. No, not the return, up to here. Go to JS and paste it. We don't need this. Paste it. Do a quick format and see if we are missing any. Yep, we are missing something. There we go. We were missing. Yep, we are missing that. So that works, and let's try it again. And now it works. So let's do a quick test on our search. Yep, it's all working. Great. So to explain a bit further what all this means is we created two variables here, one for the table and one for the data table instance. So for data table, we are just saving it as a data table instance, and then we have all the options here. And then this is on we are trying to reinitialize our other functions on every draw. So every time the table redraws, and what we mean by redraw is if you click on this page like this, the whole table sort of like changes. That is considered a redraw event. So what you're doing is every time it redraws, we reinitialize the toolbar and the toggle toolbars function. And also we reinitialize the menu. So the menu is this one here, and the toggle toolbars are this one here. So we're just reinitializing that, because every time when the data table redraws, it will just lose that out, or the new data that gets populated in doesn't really get inserted into the DOM correctly. Alright, it gets inserted to the DOM, just that JS it was initialized before does not have the new DOM information or DOM elements. Alright, and this is the function that handles the search data. So what we're doing is we are querying the elements, the input element, and then on every key up we're doing a search and redrawing the data table. So what we do is, like if you want to search for this guy, perf, say it's redrawing the data table on every key up. It's pretty cool. And then we have our init toggle toolbar, which is just to swap that around. And then we have our toggle toolbars, is just to count how many rows are checked, like so. So here we can again add functionality if you want. You can just add a feature here. So what do you do when you click select? Maybe you want to delete, or you want to open a new page with additional more info of this row, for example, and so on. So the main part here is the options, where we have Ajax DataTable, where we serve the data from our backend server. And then we need to, of course, turn on server side. And we have this processing through, because we want to have a little pop-up to say that it's processing. So if we do a quick refresh of this page, you notice that little processing pops up, this one here. So that's what it does. And you can also see that when we search for something, so we search for this, if you notice that processing pops up, and then it refreshes the page. So there's a slight delay to say that process. And that's pretty much it. Of course, yeah, we have these columns to identify the columns, and also it needs to match with your backend. So if you look at our backend, we have like a whole bunch of information or data types here, or fields here. So what we're doing is they're just going to display certain things on the table. So for example, we only want like the name, the email, the company, and whatnot. So, but we have so much data here. What we can do is we just want to grab like the record ID, the name, the emails, and whatnot. And then here we're defining certain columns. So on column 0, we wanted to have checkbox like this, And on column 4, we want it to have an image with our credit card type. So on column 4 is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see this is like American Express or MasterCard. So in our API endpoint, we are serving, or we are basically returning the payload with the credit card type. And then what we're doing here is we're just grabbing it and displaying it after we've received the Ajax response. And here we are just serving the, or not serving, we are just rendering the menu for actions, this one right here. So we have our actions, and then it's a drop down like that, and then we have the menu right below it for edit and delete. So those two. Alright, I think that was it for this video. I hope you find this video informative. If you did, please give us a like. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also turn on the notification bell. And also follow us on our social medias. Links will be in the description below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.